TNPSC Combined Statistics Services Exam Unit 5. Currently, we were discussing about two classifications of statistical inference. In the previous module, we discussed about the estimation of parameters. In this module, we are discussing about testing of hypothesis. Now, let us see what is a statistical hypothesis. A statistical hypothesis is some statement or assertion about a population or equivalently about the probability distribution characterizing a population which we want to verify on the basis of information available from a sample. If the statistical hypothesis specifies the population completely, then it is termed as a simple statistical hypothesis. Otherwise, it is called a composite statistical hypothesis. Let us consider an example. If x1, x2, etc., xn is a random sample of size n from a normal population with mean mu and variance sigma square, then the hypothesis h naught mu is equal to mu naught and sigma square is equal to sigma naught square is a simple hypothesis. That is, here we know the specific value of mu and sigma square. We know that the value of mu is mu naught and sigma square is sigma naught square. Such kind of hypothesis is called simple hypothesis. In composite hypothesis, we will only have a partial idea about the parameters in the hypothesis. In the previous example, consider the hypothesis h naught mu is equal to mu naught. Here, we don't have an idea about the parameter sigma square. It is not specified in the hypothesis. And another one example is h naught sigma square is equal to sigma naught square. In this hypothesis, the value of mu is not provided. Another kind of composite hypothesis is h naught mu less than mu naught and sigma square is equal to sigma naught square. Here, the value of sigma square is provided, but we don't know the particular value of mu. We have only a partial idea about mu, that is, it is given mu is less than mu naught. That is, mu is less than some particular value mu naught, but we don't have the complete specifications about the both parameters. Both these kind of hypotheses are known as composite hypothesis. A hypothesis which does not specify completely all parameters of a population is termed as a composite hypothesis with r degrees of freedom. A test of a statistical hypothesis is a two-action decision problem after the experimental sample values have been obtained. The two actions being acceptance or rejection of the hypothesis under consideration. Now let us see what is null and alternative hypothesis. The hypothesis that is tested is called the null hypothesis and is usually denoted by the symbol h naught. Also, we may have another hypothesis which we will accept or reject according as we reject or accept h naught. This hypothesis is called the alternative hypothesis and it is usually denoted by h1. Consider a sample for which mu denotes the mean of the population. We want to test mu is equal to 50. Suppose we have a feeling that if mu is not equal to 50, then it can only be greater than 50. So, when we decide to reject the hypothesis, the null hypothesis mu is equal to 50, then we will be accepting the hypothesis mu greater than 50 and vice versa. That is, if we decide to accept the hypothesis mu is equal to 50, then we will be rejecting the hypothesis mu greater than 50. So here h naught is mu is equal to 50 and h1 is mu greater than 50. In some situations, no alternative hypothesis may be specified. But even there will be an alternative hypothesis and it will be h naught is not true. For example, If we have a null hypothesis, h naught mu is equal to 50, and h1, that is the alternative hypothesis, if it is not specified, then we will be taking h1 as h naught is not true, that is here h naught as mu is equal to 50, then our h1 is mu not equal to 50. So in all case of testing statistical hypothesis, we are testing a null hypothesis against an alternative hypothesis. We know statistical procedures are all based on probabilities, and there will always be an error term associated with it. So we do admit that our procedure may result in committing one or the other of the following two types of errors. The first one is rejecting h naught when it is true, and the second one is accepting h naught when it is false, or we can say accepting h naught when h1 is true. The first is called type 1 error and the second is called type 2 error. The following table will help you understand both these kinds of errors in detail. Now let us consider an example. Suppose we are studying the smoking habits of primary school students in Tamil Nadu, and we are asked to examine whether the proportion of primary school students who smoke is more than 5%. Here we are faced with the problem of testing h naught p greater than 0.05 against h1 p less than 0.05, where p stands for the proportion of primary school students smoking in Tamil Nadu at that time. Suppose the test procedure suggested is to take a sample of 100 students and to reject the hypothesis if only 5% or less, that is less than 5 students of the students are found to smoke, and accept the hypothesis otherwise. Even when the proportion of primary school students smoking in the population is more than 5%, our sample of 100 students may include only very few students, say less than 3, with smoking habits. And based on that sample, we may decide to reject the hypothesis. Here we are committing the first type of error. Similarly, even when the proportion in the population is less than 5%, we may get a sample with more than 5 smokers, and we may decide to accept the hypothesis, thereby committing the second type of error. Since the decision is based on a sample only, it is evident that it is possible to prevent these errors completely. What we attempt to do is to plan the test procedure in such a manner that the probabilities of the two types of errors are at a reasonably low level. Moving on, we are discussing about critical region, significance level, and power of a test. In a statistical test procedure, the range of variation of the test statistic is divided into two regions, the acceptance region and the rejection region. The rejection region is also called critical region. Even when the hypothesis is true, the test statistic may fall in the rejection region or critical region. The probability of the test statistic falling in the critical region when the hypothesis is true is called the significance level or size of the test. Evidently, this is the probability of rejecting the hypothesis when it is true, or the probability of the first type of error. That is, significance level is equal to probability of rejecting h naught given h naught, that is given h naught is true, which is equal to type 1 error. The selection of the test statistic as well as the division of the range of variation of the test statistic into acceptance and critical regions is done in such a manner that the significance level is very small. Usually it is chosen as equal to either 0.05 or 0.01. This is the probability of the test statistic falling in the critical region when the null hypothesis is true. We argued that since this probability is chosen so small, it is highly improbable that the test statistic falls in the critical region if the null hypothesis is true, and so if it happens, it is significant. That is, it is something unexpected or improbable if the hypothesis is true, and so worth taking note of. And so the hypothesis is not likely to be true, and conclude that we have sufficient justification to reject the hypothesis. If the significance level is chosen as 0.05, our conclusions may be wrong in 5 out of 100 cases, and if it is chosen as 0.01, we may be wrong in 1 out of 100 cases. But we discard this eventuality and take the view that an event with so small a probability is almost impossible. Naturally, we may be tempted to design tests with smaller and smaller significant levels. But we have to remember that any reduction in the significance level, that is, the probability of first type of error, will result in some increase in the probability of the second type of error, which is also undesirable. So we have to try to reduce the probability of the second type of error, keeping of course the probability of the first type of error below reasonable limits in constructing test. The probability of rejecting the hypothesis when the alternative hypothesis is true is called the power of the test. That is, power of the test is equal to probability of rejecting H0 given H1. That is, probability of rejecting H0 when H1 is true, which is equal to 1 minus probability of accepting H0 given H1, which is 1 minus probability of second type of error.